That voice.
Yeah.
Just, wow. It's unmistakable, isn't it?
Completely, that raw emotion.
Yeah, and the phrasing, it just hits you. It could break your heart and somehow mend it all at once.
Mm.
Today, we're really diving into the life behind that voice,
Mm-hmm.
the incredible, often, tragic life. Okay, let's unpack this.
Let's do it.
We're doing a deep dive into Eleanor Fagan, who the world came to know as the one, the only Billie Holiday.
Lady Day.
Lady Di herself. Our mission today really is to explore her whole journey. I mean, from this childhood marked by poverty, serious hardship,
Right.
to becoming, well, truly one of the most iconic, most influential singers in jazz and blues history, period.
Absolutely. And it's that blend, isn't it? The artistic genius alongside these profound personal struggles.
Exactly. We'll trace that path drawing from a really detailed biography.
And what's fascinating here is that her music, it really went beyond just entertainment.
Oh, absolutely.
It was like this powerful mirror, reflecting her own pain, sure, but also the harsh social truths of her time. Her story is just incredibly complex.
It really is.
It shows how talent can emerge from the toughest realities and grapple with them, leaving this impact that goes way beyond music itself.
You said it perfectly. And to really get that impact, we have to go back, right back to the start, her early life.
Yeah, it was early shadows.
Eleanor Fagan, born April 7th, 1915 in Philadelphia.
Hmm.
But her childhood, mostly in Baltimore, was, well, defined by instability, real poverty.
Deep poverty.
Her mother, Sadie Fagan, worked these long, grueling hours just trying to survive. Young Billie was often left, to fend for herself.
In a pretty rough environment, too.
Definitely. And her father, Clarence Holiday, he was a jazz guitarist, actually played with Fletcher Henderson later.
Right, a talented musician himself.
But he was mostly absent, basically abandoned the family early on.
Yeah.
Makes you think, doesn't it? How that kind of brutal start must forge something in you. A survival instinct, maybe.
Yeah, no doubt. Something you hear later in her singing.
Yeah. I mean, she dropped out of school by 5th grade, faced so many hardships, even did time in reform school. Just a brutal beginning.
It really shapes your view of the world.
It's hard to really wrap your head around that level of instability, But somehow, she found her way to New York City, late 1920s.
The Harlem Renaissance era. Right. A vibrant time, but still tough.
Totally. And that's where her career, started to spark. Singing for tips in Harlem nightclubs, just trying to get by.
Paying her dues.
And it was there she created that iconic stage name, Billie, apparently from Billy Dove, the silent film star she admired.
Ah, interesting.
And Holiday, from her father's last name, a name she'd make famous in ways he never really did.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, though, that tough upbringing, it wasn't just background noise.
No.
It was absolutely central. It's what forged her unique artistry. Her voice became like this channel for all those experiences.
You can really hear it.
Yeah, it wasn't about hitting perfect notes. It was about pouring a whole life. The struggle, the emotion, the resilience into every single phrase. Those early years laid the foundation for that unmistakable, deeply emotional delivery.
That's what made her stand out.
Exactly. You hear the echoes, the yearning, the defiance, the heartbreak. It adds layers that, frankly, a more privileged life just couldn't provide.
Yeah, people did hear it. Big time. 1933, she gets discovered by the legendary John Hammond.
Huge. Hammond had the ear for talent back then.
Right. A massive turning point. And soon after, she's recording with jazz royalty. Like Benny Goodman.
The king of swing. I mean, wow.
Seriously. From singing for tips in Harlem to recording with Benny Goodman. That's quite a leap. Happened so fast.
Incredible trajectory.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting, thinking about her actual style. For someone with such a legacy, her voice itself, it wasn't about massive range, was it?
No, technically, especially early on, her range was quite limited compared to some others.
Right. But what she lacked in, maybe vocal fireworks, she just completely made up for with this raw emotional depth.
Unparalleled phrasing.
Yes. And that improvisational sense. She didn't just sing the song, she inhabited it, turned lyrics into these intensely personal things. How did she do that? Create such impact with what some might see as a, technical limitation.
Well, what's fascinating here is she basically rewrote the rules for what a great jazz vocalist could be.
Yeah, how so?
Instead of vocal gymnastics, she focused everything on storytelling, emotional connection. Her secret weapon wasn't a high note. It was how she'd phrase things, often just slightly behind the beat.
That laying back style.
Exactly. It created this conversational, almost intimate feel. It made the rhythm section, even Basie's legendary band, kind of chase her, adapt to her timing.
Wow.
She could bend a note, delay a word, add this tiny pause, and suddenly a simple line had profound meaning, like she was speaking directly to you.
Bluesy, but sophisticated jazz.
Perfectly put. It was raw, unvarnished truth in her voice. Something very few singers before or since have really captured in the same way.
It really is amazing how art can just transcend those technical boxes. And her fame, it really exploded in the mid-30s, those recordings with Teddy Wilson.
Oh, classics. What a Little Moonlight Can Do, Miss Brown to You. Still sound incredible today.
They really do. But she wasn't just making hits. She was also, just by being there, breaking down huge racial barriers.
A major point.
Her work in the late 30s with Count Basie and then Artie Shaw. She was one of the very first Black women to sing with an all-white orchestra.
Think about that in the segregated America of the 1930s.
Exactly. Imagine the sheer guts it took to walk onto those stages, often in front of segregated crowds. It was like this quiet but powerful act of defiance, trailblazing.
Absolutely.
And then there are the songs, the ones that became synonymous with her, songs that didn't just define her life, but maybe a whole generation.
You have to talk about Strange Fruit.
You have to.
Yeah.
1939. This wasn't just a song, it was visceral. A haunting protest against racism, against lynching.
Chilling. And its origin story is interesting too, right? A poem by Abel Maripol.
Yeah, a Jewish school teacher. And apparently it was offered to other big Black singers first, like Lena Horne, who turned it down. Understandably, maybe, fearing the backlash. But Billie, she insisted, even when her own label, Columbia, refused to record it.
So she went elsewhere.
Yep. Released it on an independent label, Commodore.
Yeah.
And it just exploded. Became her most famous, definitely her most controversial song.
Cemented her role beyond just singer, artist, activist.
Totally. Using her platform to shine a light on horrors people wanted to ignore.
This raises an important question, doesn't it? And it's still relevant today.
What's that?
How much courage does it really take for an artist to risk everything, their career, their safety for social justice? Especially then. A Black woman challenging the status quo like that, it was seen as a serious threat. Performing Strange Fruit was an act of extraordinary bravery.
More than just a song.
Oh, yeah. It was a declaration, a musical indictment forcing society to confront its ugliest truths. It changed protest music forever.
Absolutely. And while Strange Fruit was so public, her music also went incredibly deep into the personal.
Like, God bless the child.
Exactly, 1941. Co-written by her, supposedly inspired by an argument with her mother about money. That harsh reality of needing to rely on yourself.
You hear that self-reliance, maybe even bitterness in the song.
Definitely. And then others. Lover Man, Don't Explain, Lady Sings the Blues, Fine and Mellow. They all have that signature mix, right? Vulnerability, but also this like world weariness and strength. It makes you wonder, how clearly can you hear her actual life woven into those lyrics?
Yeah.
What stands out to you about how these songs reflected her in her times? She seemed both so public and yet so private.
What's remarkable is how universal they felt, even when deeply personal. They were anthems of struggle, love, disappointment that resonated because they felt so authentic. She could take a standard pop song and just imbue it with her own life, turn it into this bluesy lament or defiant statement.
She made you feel it.
Right. When she sang about heartbreak, it wasn't an act. It felt like a shared experience. Listeners felt seen, validated in their own feelings.
Such a gift. But while the artistry was soaring, there was that darker side. It casts such a long, tragic shadow.
The addiction struggles.
Yeah. Despite the huge success, she battled severely with alcohol and drugs. Heroin, especially. And these struggles, they just hammered her career, her health, ultimately her life. A relentless battle she fought, often it seems pretty much alone.
And it wasn't just a private battle either. It became very public.
That's the other piece. What's so distressing and historically crucial is how she was targeted, specifically by law enforcement.
Right, the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, Harry Anslinger.
Exactly. Anslinger, this notoriously zealous commissioner, fiercely anti-jazz. He basically made it clear he was going after prominent Black artists.
Well,
It
wasn't random. It felt like a campaign.
Totally. Almost vindictive. So 1947, she's arrested for narcotics possession. Serves a year and a day in prison.
Alderson, West Virginia.
Yeah. A devastating blow. Personally, professionally. Right when she was arguably at her peak.
And the societal context there is so important. The early war on drugs. It often targeted marginalized communities. Cultural figures challenging norms. People like Billie Holiday, already dealing with racism, segregation, fame. They were prime targets.
Under immense pressure.
Absolutely. Not just personal demons, but these external forces seemingly determined to control or silence her. It speaks to this broader cultural fight, intersecting with civil rights, artistic freedom.
A really dark side of that era.
Definitely.
And the problems didn't just vanish when she got out of prison.
No, the cabaret card issue?
Right. Her New York City cabaret card was revoked because of the conviction, which meant she couldn't perform anywhere that served alcohol.
So most of the major jazz clubs were off limits, even Carnegie Hall initially.
But here's that resilience again. Despite the ban, she plays Carnegie Hall in 1948. Sold-out crowd.
Amazing. A testament to her pull, her defiance.
Totally. Proving people still wanted her, needed to hear her, regardless of the rules. Then she writes her autobiography, Lady Sings the Blues, in '56.
A raw read.
Very raw, often harrowing. Though later it came out it was, heavily ghost-written, partly fictionalized, maybe.
Like co-written. Still powerful, though.
Oh, yeah, it gave this intense glimpse into her world. And on top of all that, she endured these awful abusive relationships.
Just adding to the burden, a vicious cycle.
Yeah. So, considering all this constant struggle, what does this all mean for her legacy? It shows incredible strength, but also the crushing weight she carried.
Both things are true.
Her health just kept going downhill through the 50s. Mostly the substance abuse, escalating.
You can hear it in the later recording.
You really can. It was tragic, visible.
Yep.
Yet even then, her artistry, it never completely died out. She kept recording. Albums like Lady in Satin in 1958.
A masterpiece, but a difficult one.
It's so difficult. Recorded just a year before she died.
Yeah.
Her voice on that album, it's undeniably ravaged. It's not the smooth instrument of her youth.
No.
But weirdly, that fragility becomes its own kind of power, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
She wasn't just singing. She was embodying every struggle, every heartbreak. That critic's line about hearing a woman bleed. It's almost too much, but profound.
It's precisely in those later works where vulnerability becomes this unvarnished honesty, a kind of artistic courage few reach.
Yeah.
The cracks in her voice are the story. They convey the raw, unfiltered truth of a life lived so fully, so painfully. She wasn't hiding. She was laying her soul bare.
Transforming suffering into art.
Exactly. And that makes those recordings maybe even more poignant, more powerful today.
Ultimately, though, the weight, personal, systemic, it was just too much. Billie Holiday died July 17th, 1959, New York City. Tragically young, only 44.
Heart failure, cirrhosis of the liver,
Yeah.
the official causes.
And that detail, it just gets you. She was under police guard in her hospital bed.
Still being pursued over drug charges.
Right.
To the very end.
It's just such a stark reminder of the battles she fought. Not just internal ones, but against a system that seemed relentless.
Punitive right until her last breath.
Yet despite all that hardship, the tragedy of her death, Lady Day, that name lives on.
Given by Lester Young, right. Her great musical partner.
That's right, affectionately given. And her legacy, immense, undeniable. She is, hands down, one of the greatest jazz vocalists ever.
No question.
That phrasing, the emotional depth, the fearless expression of pain, of social injustice,
Right.
it left this permanent mark on jazz, blues, popular music. Still resonates.
You hear her influence everywhere, from Nina Simone to, well, even Amy Winehouse. That raw honesty over technical perfection, she created a new way to sing.
And she's still being recognized, decades later. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2000.
Rightly so. Genre-spanning impact.
And her story just keeps captivating people. Films, books, plays. Lady Sings the Blues with Diana Ross back in '72.
A classic.
And then the United States versus Billie Holiday, more recently with Andra Day. Her story keeps demanding to be told.
And what's fascinating here is how it continues to resonate across generations, different mediums. She's become this powerful symbol, hasn't she?
Of what exactly?
Resilience, I think. Resilience against incredible struggle and artistic truth, even when that truth is painful, uncomfortable. Her life, her music, they offer this timeless commentary on race, addiction, freedom, and maybe the power of art to turn suffering into something universal, something beautiful.
What an arc. Just incredible. Heartbreaking, yes, but inspiring, too. From that unimaginable hardship to this unparalleled musical genius and lasting cultural impact, always striving for that artistic truth, despite everything, personal demons, societal pressures.
There's relentless pressure.
Her life really offers so many lessons. About resilience, sure, but also about art's power, the strength of the human spirit against, well, overwhelming odds.
Definitely makes you think.
So as you, our listener, reflect on her life, her music, Think about this. Despite all the profound pain she expressed, that raw vulnerability, how does her music still manage to offer catharsis? Maybe even hope?
Yeah, it's a paradox, isn't it?
It is. And what does that tell us about the power of art? Its ability not just to show suffering, but maybe help us navigate it, transcend it even, something to chew on.